Welcome everyone. Adam the Woo here as the recording of this Friday, November 4th, 2022. Behind me, well, over my shoulder I should say, is a sculpture of Dolly Parton. This is her hometown, Sevierville, Tennessee, just on the outskirts of Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. All three of those communities are all kind of combined in a roundabout way, but this is her stomping ground. This was placed here in 1987. It has an interesting backstory as well. In fact, there's some photos of Dolly standing right here next to herself in front of the county courthouse, Sevier County Courthouse. Now, I have dived into a lot of the history of this area and Dolly in the past, but one place I have not been to is her Tennessee mountain home, which I tried to find many years ago, and a bear that was in the woods that I did not see with my eyes, but I could hear, kind of thwarted that attempt. Today, I'm going to try to rectify that, as well as go to a couple other spots that I have not been to. I'm inviting you to join me, shall you? Here's one of the photos from that day of her with the microphone, possibly even singing something, or at least giving her thanks for having this placed here. She was definitely all about her family. Her mom and dad were very important to her. Also down here, the statue of Dolly was erected through the generosity of the people of Sevier County, dedicated on May 3rd, 1987. And one of the folklore stories about this, even Dolly has stated it, that her father, notice she's not wearing any shoes here, and the butterfly is kind of a symbol of Dolly. When you go to Dollywood and places like that, they use the butterfly. I won't say as their mascot, but you see a lot of butterflies, you know, in the story of Dolly here. But it is said, you never know if stories are true or not, but it is legend that her father, for the first couple of years that this sculpture was sitting here, would show up under the shroud of nightfall, you know, after everyone had kind of gone home and got their photos and whatnot, and he would clean off this. He would clean this off. He would show up with a pail and a wash rag, soap and water, and clean his daughter off, which is really cute if you think about it. Now, I am going to go by quite a few spots, including a little bit of family history as well, but just reading a little more detail on here. Dolly Rebecca Parton was born January 19th, 1946 in Locust Ridge. I'm going to go up to Locust Ridge in rural Sevier County, the fourth of 12 children. She had 11 brothers and sisters. So this is such a great time to be in this area. Mostly because, you know, the weather is nice, the leaves are changing very beautifully. You can see the leaves are kind of already starting to fall, and the leaves are changing colors, kind of like the song that she wrote, The Coat of Many Colors, that her mama made for her. I'm going to also show some mom and dad history as well and talk about them a little bit. With the courthouse there in the distance, it's just about 15 minutes till 1 p.m. I'm kind of noticing the town either coincidentally embraces it, or I don't know, you decide. So it says Jolene's on Bruce Street. Take a look at this. Of course, one of her most famous songs is Jolene. Coincident? Or who knows? Another notable name in this area is the Ogles. It's the Ogle building. Kind of founding family, if you will. Now, I have covered a lot of Dolly stuff in my days, and 10 years I've been coming to this area. But the spots I'm going to be going to today, I've never really gone to. I've tried, but today it's going to happen. I like all the information they kind of have around here. I'm just kind of showing a lot of the history of Sevierville. Oh, look at this. There's FDR enjoying a motorcade through town. Interesting. Oh yeah, that's when he did the dedication of the Great Smoky Mountains, right there. Now, this is kind of interesting. Historic jail bars dating back to 1856. Quite an interesting story here. But they now use the jail bars as storm drain covers. There's only 2 that remain. Look at this. These are the jail bars from this story. Oh my goodness. I walked over here to show this. This Red's Cafe The sun is kind of bleaching it out just a little bit. But Red's Cafe was a spot that Dolly, as a youth, would go and get a hamburger, as this artistic representation shows. That's a young Dolly right there. Now, a lot of this has been covered in great detail with websites, different posts, things online, and videos that other people have done. In fact, my friend Jordan the Lion, give a shout out to him a couple years ago, he went to a couple of the spots that I'm going to be going to. And I also stumbled on another YouTuber by the name of Dream Poet, and he did a video at some of the stuff I'm going to be showing, and he was really passionate about what he was showing, and I learned a couple things that I would not have known by watching his stuff. I think a year or so ago he did some of these spots too, but a lot of this stuff has been shown many times, but I just wanted to put my own spin on it. I like the reflection here. Red's Cafe, Red's Cafe. Here is the town post office, as the clock tower just rang behind me briefly. This train track is the originally laid along Bruce Street in 1916. These tracks were unearthed in 2020. The section was reconstructed and dedicated in 2021, a tribute to the historic railroad that ran right through here. And I really like that hardware store over there, Cash Hardware. Traffic's a little backed up, but kind of get the idea of the hardware store. Small town hardware across the street there. I really like this sign too, Kelvinator, this Butler radio store. Off to the side over there. This building here at Butler's, but you see the sign says Kelvinator, Butler Radio Electric. Yeah, I just love the vibe down here. It's a barbershop now. All right. Dolly? I think this is supposed to be Dolly. Got the cowboy boots on down there. Got the guitar. Got the blonde hair. I'm going to say this is supposed to be Dolly Parton. This is a representation of Dolly. Oh, I just went through the corn there. The corn's now obscuring Dolly. Yeah, I think that's Dolly. This stretch of road here has a couple of closed businesses. One of former cleaners. Something else over there. Very unique building here. And next to the auto refinishing, this road is Joy Street. Which should be the location of a historic theater, which is long gone. Was on Joy Street. Now here is a photo of the Pines. I think this photo was taken in the 30s. This is a little bit before Dolly performed in there. At the age of 10, which is stated to be her first paid performance that she ever did. Of course, went on to be one of the biggest country stars of all time. But her first paying gig was right over here. And they're renovating the building, and there's like a mural with some other artists on the side. I'll walk over there too. But you can definitely tell that the top of this looks the same, and the awning is right there. I think that might be a young Dolly on the side painted over there. And just to give a little correlation, there's the courthouse and where Dolly's sculpture is. And here was the Pines. But yeah, the awning was right there. So you can definitely tell that even though it's been renovated, the roof still looks the same here. And then the awning to the Pines would have been right here, as shown in that photo. Pretty cool that they're restoring it, so when they're finished with it, be able to go inside at some point, return and go inside where Dolly Parton had her first paid singing gig. And she was not the only notable name that played here. You know, it was an active open theater here in town. I'm kind of wondering, is this supposed to represent her at a young age? Kind of does look like the other mural with the hamburger at the diner. This mural was placed here by the artist S. Bishop back in 2022. Could have been when they started renovating the building. Now where the marquee was, so in that photo I showed, up here you can even see the little indentations in the brick and everything, and then the like top of the roof still looks the same. But this looks like it would have been, I don't know if it's the original tile work, but kind of where the tile goes in, and then the little indentation here, and then the marquee would have been right up there. That is just so dang awesome to think about. And good that it's just not sitting here empty. They're gonna do they are doing a restoration on it. One more quick little look at the front of it there where the marquee is. And check out these windows over here. Those windows are still there, so the marquee ran parallel with where those windows are. The windows I'm referring to are the ones right up here. They still have like the little slats and everything right there. The marquee would have been kind of adjacent to that in that spot. And I go back to my rental car now and do a little driving kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Well, not really in the middle. I mean, it is somewhere, but compared to the the downtown area, it will be kind of on the outskirts of town, if you will. Time to take a commute. Walking by one of the stores here in downtown. Take a look at this shirt. It's the Queen of Hearts. It's Dolly Parton herself. While I've been driving today, I've been listening to the Dolly Parton album, My Tennessee Mountain Home, which really does put everything I'm showing in perspective. It's all about this area and where she lived and some of the spots that I'm going to be showing today and have shown today. It's a great album. I love it. As I'm driving to the next spot, notice this old gas station here. The gas pumps out front has the regular unleaded. But there are a lot of family lineage around here as well. In fact, this store looks to have been owned by one of the family. You can see where it says Parton Market right there. Parton with an O, P-A-R-T-O-N, just like Dolly's Dolly's last name is spelled. With the RC Cola as well. Pretty fascinating how much Parton history there is around here. Catton's Chapel is the name of this property. It's kind of up a steep incline. Drove the car up here. But you can just see how big the family is. A lot of Partons. And the maiden name of her mother is Owens. Notice the quote here. I will always love you, just like one of her songs. That's an unusual but a really great name, Dicey Jane Parton. Not sure if that was a nickname or real first name, Dicey Jane. Now over here on the back side of this fence, there's also a little church steeple down, a little church building, are her parents. And from what I was kind of reading online, it is common opinion and common thoughts that Dolly will be laid to rest here. And this is going to be her little memorial whenever that day comes. In fact, if you look at it right there, the blue dot is where I'm at. This little parking area that's kind of blocked off. But look over here across the way where those houses are. Dolly's Drive. So you got the parking area here, which looks to be for a future parking section down the road. There's some painted butterflies on these rocks here. So it's all fenced off down there. Up here you can walk right through from the main property into this other section. Which would make sense, the speculation and thoughts that this could be her resting place here. So this area adjacent is kind of a newer section. But her mom and dad, Robert Lee Parton and A.V. Lee Owens, her dad in 2000 and her mom in 2003. Now on that album I was talking about, my Tennessee Mountain Home album, she pays tribute to her parents even before they passed, because that album I think was in 1973, which was a year before I was born. Such a great album, a great tribute to this area. And she talks about her love for her parents and the family. 11 siblings. She was the 4th out of 12 that they had. Robert Lee and A.V., or maybe pronounced Avi, but A.V. Lee Owens. One of the songs on that album talks about how hard worker her father was. And his boots, there's a song about his boots. And even then, she was talking about when her father goes to heaven, that she hopes in heaven that he will have a new pair of boots, gold boots waiting for him. She grew up with very, very humble beginnings, only to become, who she is today. Very beloved in this area, very beloved all over the world. It's hard to think of anyone who doesn't like Dolly, but definitely in this area. She's treated this area very well. One of the biggest employers, obviously with Dollywood and Dixie Stampede and all the other endeavors that she's gotten around here. She's treated this area very, very well. This is flown over here. All right, I'm gonna go try to find Tennessee Mountain Home, where her parents lived and Dolly lived with her siblings. You know what's kind of interesting too, there's no names on this, but let's just assume for a moment that this is where Dolly will be. Garth Brooks, another country singer, no correlation to Dolly, but other than the style of music. Garth is a little newer style than Dolly's kind of old-timey style country. But Garth Brooks, where he is going to be laid, has something similar to this, but already has his name on it, which is very interesting. All right, moving on. And real quick, like, show a photo of Dolly and her mom and dad there. I am now on Locust Ridge Road. Got some cows out here. Hello, cows. They're just going to get some water. The feeding trough. Don't mind me, cows. Okay, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going. We have a river over here, which I've heard the house was right on the river. And this also says Locust Ridge, which is pretty common knowledge to know that the Tennessee Mountain home was on Locust Ridge. But then it veers off here at Parton Lane. And this says no turnaround. So I don't know if I should drive down there. I'll try to look on satellite view and just see. I could keep going up Locust Ridge. Maybe I'll do that first. But if I can't find it, I'll backtrack here. But it might be smart to check satellite and then walk it instead of trying to take a vehicle down there. Very beautiful up here, but it is definitely up here is the key words. It's like straight up the side of a mountain. I looked on satellite view and that other road that ran parallel to the Little Pigeon River, I don't think that was it. So I'm just traversing down this way, just gonna see what happens. Beautiful up here, but it's just straight up. Not the Paula Abdul song. Take a look over here at this little cabin in the woods. Even way up here, got some wild horses. Hello, horses. Any idea where Dolly's? No, you're not interested in it. Okay. Carry on. Sorry. Preoccupied with grazing. All right. We got a little shack here. Take a look at this. I don't know if this was a homestead. A tree has fallen on the roof. Here on the Ridge Road, I should say. Can't tell what's in there. Looks like maybe some chicken coops. Okay, after about 10 miles of windy road, I've now approached this sign. It says Evans Chapel and Locust Ridge. Wasn't I just on Locust Ridge? How many years ago? 5 or 6 years ago. I think it was during the winter. It was during the cooler months. There was some snow, whatnot. I was trying to find this area and eerily reminding me of that time because I'm hearing something rustling around in the woods over here. There's a lot of bears around here. I really do not want a bear to come charging out of the woods. But when I was here before, I believe it was up, way up at the top of the winding road that I was up on there. I didn't really film much of it because very winding, the ridge road that's up there. However, I have now found the road and the property where the Tennessee Mountain home either stood or still stands to this day. That the album was written about, where Dolly, one of 12 children of the Partons. And I am looking over here because I did hear something rustling, but it has kind of stopped rustling. I was really confused on where this was. In fact, I got a hold of my friend Jordan, who has been here. I stated he was here a couple years ago, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction. I had a general idea that I was going the correct way, but I just wanted to confirm. I didn't want to get lost up in the woods on that ridge road. This fence looks like it's seen some years as well. Yeah, they don't want anybody. In fact, there's some cameras up there, obviously. Pretty freaking cool. Get a little peek through here. Looks to be down here. Looks like they put up like a little bridge, little rock work through there. Fascinating thing about this is how far out of the way and far removed it is from everything. I wonder if Pennywise is down in there. But on that album, Tennessee Mountain Home album, she immortalizes by name the doctor who gave birth, or not, you know, her mother gave birth, but the doctor who went down this very, very steep incline here. It is said that he, you know, birthed thousands of babies. He was a local doctor and a minister, I believe. And came down this very steep hill. And in the Tennessee Mountain Home behind here, Dolly Parton was born on this very property. And in honor of him, wrote a song about him. That's on the Tennessee Mountain Home album. And to think it all happened here. Well, kind of over there. See what I can see over the fence. Very expansive property back there. Obviously they didn't own probably all the land. They just had the cabin that's around that corner. Gosh, I can't tell that. I guess that's it. Is that the same one from the photos on the album? I think it might be. Doesn't look like it has any walls. Just the tin roof that still remains. Gosh, I wonder if that's, I guess that's it. There's a photo of Dolly when she returned back after she got a little fame, came back to the Tennessee Mountain Home and grabbed her guitar and strumming some chords there on the front porch of it. But just imagine 14 people resided in that house. Her and her 11 siblings and mom and dad. Okay, a little farther down the fence line now. Yeah, I can't tell if that's original or if that's something they built also on the property. It almost looks like something that was built after the fact, but it could be. And there might be something else up the hill. Up there. It's tough to tell. Really tough to tell. There's been 2 times in my life that I have been in very close proximity within a couple feet of Dolly Parton. Both times, pretty amazing experiences. First time, I just happened to be in town and my aunt and uncle, coincidentally, were also in town. We were kind of hanging out doing some stuff around Pigeon Forge, and we got word that Dolly was going to be doing some sort of press event or something at the Pirate Dinner Show, which I think is not even owned by her anymore, or it's changed names or changed hands on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge. Went over there, and she was walking out, and I didn't even know what to say. I kind of filmed her. She was going into her bus, and I was like, that's Dolly Parton. Second time was the opening of a new land at Dollywood a few years ago, and also received word that she was going to be dedicating the new area. That's probably 3 or 4, 5 years ago, give or take, and went over there and got right up to the front where the stage was going to be. And I call it a stage. It was just like a makeshift little platform, and was like kind of right up front. Waited a couple hours. She came out, sang a couple songs, dedicated to the new area, and it was very interesting because where I was standing was almost a couple feet in front of the speaker stacks where she was projecting her voice out. That's how close up I was. And I could hear her singing without any amplification. It was just her own voice singing. And then when she would put the microphone down and would kind of talk to people on the sides of the stage, I was just standing right there. I thought, wow, this is Dolly Parton. She's a living legend. And this is where the Tennessee Mountain Home was. 99.999% sure. She still owns this property, and the house is back there somewhere. I'm not sure if it was the one that I showed, but this is the spot. Very difficult to find and get to, but now that I know where it is, now it's not so hard. Now, I mean, I probably took the long way to get here when I probably got here could have got here a little quicker in an easier way instead of going up the mountainous ridge, but yeah, if I come back here again, at least I'll know how to get here. It is amazing that they just built this fence here to keep anyone from going up in there. However, this road, this tree is pretty amazing as well. But this road is very very well and distinct. Like they definitely expect people to drive down here. Like this is definitely a nice road, even though it's very, you know, treacherous and traverse up that direction. It could be in worse conditions than it is here, so people do come down here. I've seen a few other people make this pilgrimage as well. All right, I was looking at satellite view a little closer, and I do not think that that is the relics of the old Tennessee mountain home. So if you shift over this way and up that way are two other structures, and the farthest one up, I think, is the actual house. So I think it's this way. Over, like, right up in there. Can't really see much, but it is up in there. I'll show you the satellite view. So two structures on the property. This looks like a newer one. This looks like the one from the photographs right here. That definitely looks like the older cabin that's down there. At least in my opinion. All of it's off limits and you can't get to, but at least I got to look through the fence. I've gotten out of that area now and back on a more paved road. Also should mention that the theater where she first performed and the cabin have both been recreated at Dollywood. So you can go and see the Tennessee Mountain Home, a recreation of it in accurate dimensions, and how they all live there together at Dollywood, as well as the theater, how it looked then, where she first performed, has also been recreated at Dollywood. So it's pretty cool. There's some recreations at Dollywood. They meant so much to her that she wanted to place them there as well. And there's another little cabin down in here. Take a look at this. Another former homestead. That's great. Look at that. Right off the new road. A little history. Made it back down the mountain. Right here along the river. But that's going to do it for today. Short, sweet, and simple. Hello there. That's my shadow down there. I love this area. And I'm glad I was able to go up to the gates of where the Tennessee Mountain Home is. Because a few years ago, I was really close and then I got startled by a bear. That's gonna do it for today. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.